New Land Beyond is the latest D1 exotic that has been brought back from the dead, and today we're gonna talk about it. Unlike other pre-order exotics, which immediately sank into an ocean of obscurity, New Land Beyond is different. In fact, it may be here to really shake up the meta, and probably not in the way you might be expecting. To learn more, why don't we go back in time to the far-off land of 2016.
And now, presenting No Land Beyond, Scourge of Trials. So, you're a fresh young go-getter ready to have a keen time in the trials of Osiris. Well, not so fast, Buster Brown. Be sure to watch out for No Land Beyond. That's right, it's a PvP sniper rifle that runs on primary ammo. Truly the devil's bean shooter, and a scourge on our fine meta. Only a real wet blanket would equip this jalopy of a gun, but it happens more often than you might think. If you find one, be on your toes or you'll be flat on your keister in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, so TLDR, way back in D1, No Land Beyond was really popular because it was a sniper rifle that ran on primary ammo. Basically, this was one of the first ever cases of letting players run double special in PvP, even if technically it wasn't a special ammo weapon. But yeah, because it ran on primary ammo, which was not unlimited back then, you had a bunch of sniper shots that you could dish out in PvP, meaning you didn't have to be as conservative with your ammo in trials as if you'd used a regular special ammo sniper. The only downside was that the iron sight scope wasn't really super clean, and many found it to be challenging to use, and it meant you couldn't use a normal primary weapon in your loadout, because back in D1, weapons in the energy slot only ran on special ammo. Those who practiced using No Land Beyond a lot did well with it though, and they cleaned up in PvP, and the gun remained a viable threat in D1 trials all the way up until the launch of D2. Fast forward to 1 week ago, Bungie announced that if you pre-order the D2 Year of Prophecy Ultimate Edition, you can get access to the updated D2 version, New Land Beyond. And because now we live in a time where primary weapons have unlimited ammo, New Land Beyond 100% can't run on primary ammo, because the idea of having a sniper with unlimited ammo in PvP is straight up f***ing crazy talk. Therefore, New Land Beyond now runs on special ammo.
But Fallout, doesn't the gun running on special ammo kind of defeat the whole point of it being a unique mold breaker in PvP?
Yes, my friend, it does. But that's fine, because believe it or not, New Land Beyond was not designed to do well in PvP in D2. As a matter of fact, in terms of bringing it into Crucible, I kind of think it's straight up dog shit. And I say that knowing, yes, I'm sure that some diehard players will take the time to make it their favorite PvP weapon, kinda in the same way that a competitive Super Smash Bros. Ultimate player might intentionally main a low-tier character. But no, in a bizarre Pet Cemetery-like situation where what got dug up is way different than what once was, New Land Beyond was designed to shine in PvE, and boy does it. Its first unique trait is Bullseye Bolster. Landing a precision hit substantially increases the weapon's target acquisition, handling, reload speed, and stability for a short duration of time. And yeah, that's nice, but the more interesting trait by far is the intrinsic trait, the Master. Scoring precision hits increases this weapon's damage until the wielder's defeat. TLDR, every time you land a crit with New Land Beyond, you will gain 1 additional stack of a weapon damage buff called the Master. As the perk tells you, this buff will last until you die. Well, that's crazy. How many stacks are there, you might wonder? 1 freaking 100. Don't freak out though, there's really no reason to ever get the damage buff number that high, as we'll soon go over. It probably will be funny for solo players and general PvE lunatics who enjoy a good old-fashioned game of make number get bigger. And if you're curious, yeah, I got the damage numbers, yes, for every level. Do you really think I wouldn't spend hours of my life braining Carl for your benefit? Come on. Anyway, at the Master level 100, you'll be dishing out 73% extra damage with New Land Beyond. Again, the good news is that you don't have to get anywhere near that high to really start feeling the damage buff. The numbers are extremely front-loaded. While your damage buff at level 100 is an extra 73%, your damage buff at level 20 is an extra 70%. Meaning, yeah, from level 21 all the way up to level 100, your damage buff only goes up a fraction of a percent each time. In short, don't worry about getting all the way up to level 100, because getting the buff that high is mostly for show. I'd say that your most important levels of the Master to hit are 5, 10, 15 and 20. At level 5, you're hitting 35%, which is 5% more than bait and switch. At level 10, you're hitting around 50% more damage. At level 15, you're hitting around 60% more damage. And at level 20, you're hitting an extra 70% more damage. In terms of difficulty required to activate a damage buff, exotic trait the Master comes in around the same level as breathing. As long as you're not dying, New Land Beyond is going to be pumping out insane crit damage. Oh, and for the record, you should be trying to land crits 100% of the time, because while the Master buffs your crit damage, it does absolutely zero in buffing body shot damage. Headshots only, y'all. Random side note, by the way, if you do plan on using the power of New Land Beyond, be sure to not pair it together with Divinity. Reason being, while landing shots on a Divinity bubble does up your stacks of the Master buff, you'll notice your damage per shot is actually locked in and never goes up. Kinda tragic, because it means your damage output is actually way better without Divinity as opposed to with it, which is kinda weird. Even with that strange limitation though, New Land Beyond has already led to some pretty disgusting PvE damage rotations, including Bog on my dog and company one-phasing the Witness with New Land Beyond. For a special ammo weapon, that's pretty damned impressive. It actually has me slightly worried because, as many of you know, we've got a brand new raid coming down the pipe in July, and even though we have no idea what to expect, I feel like I'm really glad I have the option to bring New Land Beyond. However, at the moment, it's a pre-order exotic that you have to pay actual money for the opportunity to use. And yeah, you can probably see where I'm going with this. Depending on what ends up being meta or the go-to damage option in the upcoming July raid, this could potentially turn into a really awkward, messy situation. But before we hit the panic button, the good news though is that if the devs figure out that New Land Beyond will completely steamroll one or any encounter in the new July raid, then I'm sure in that case, Bungie could simply add New Land Beyond to the list of banned weapons that you won't be able to bring into the raid opening weekend to try and get a contest clear, which they do all the time. In short, if you're hearing a lot of talk about New Land Beyond's damage buff being total fire, which it kinda is, I would say don't panic and drop the cash on the pre-order just to feel safer and more prepared for the upcoming raid. Again, if it's too hot for any of those encounters, it's likely going to get banned for the contest clear anyway. That being said, if you just want to use it right now for the hell of it, maybe in Rite of the Nine, for example, and if you've got a fat stack of cash really burning a hole in your pocket, I guess, then go for it. Damn good weapon and way better than what I was expecting. By the way, I feel like I really quickly rushed through why I didn't like New Land Beyond in PvP. Here's the short version. The flinch seems kind of extra bad for some reason. I swear to God, I've fired some shots that feel like they could 100% be headshots, and yet they just completely vanish into the void. And yeah, that's about it. Looking on the bright side though, is that when you're picking up a special ammo box off a dead enemy's body in PvP, you'll get 2 shots in your sniper instead of just 1, which is something, I guess. But yeah, I swear to God, PvP wise, the thing just feels not right. I can't quite put my finger on it, but maybe you'll enjoy it more than I did, who knows. TLDR, New Land Beyond has been given the mountaintop treatment, aka a gun that used to be a complete menace in Crucible has been reimagined to succeed in PvE. However, whereas mountaintop is fun for yellow bar punching and fun movement tech, New Land Beyond is a legit DPS contender, all while being a special ammo weapon, which is extra frightening. I guess we'll see what it'll be able to accomplish when Edge of Fate drops in July. That's all for now. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.